Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the agent-ready design systems part 3, and we're going to specifically dive into how design systems are the core infrastructure for agents, especially while generating UI and products and things like that, and then how the scattered context is one of the growing problem. And we're going to dive into why the agents drift and why is it it's getting so challenging for design systems to be AI ready, and where it's breaking in this age of AI, and some of the solutions that I've been working on with the Florence design system at Human AI Studio and stuff. So, and by the way, I'm doing a workshop on Maven, one-day workshop on how to help you make your design system AI ready. And also we're going to dive deeper into how to work with an existing design system with your Figma, some of the workflows that we have explored, and also learning how to do audits and able to eventually build up your design systems to be AI ready, and we'll give you the checklist and everything. So if you're interested, the link to join to the workshop is in the description. That being said, let's dive into this third part of the agent ready design system. So these are the questions that I started with, right? Like, why do agents drift from the design system? What that means is, let's say you are prompting in Claude Code or Cursor or any coding agent that you use, it generates UI off brand, right? And you are like prompting to like kind of fix it. And when a growth stage startup and enterprises and all this stuff, you can't really ship a product that's not connected to your design systems. So it's a very crucial part of building a product. But right now the agents don't completely understand the design system and they keep drifting. This is bringing a lot of challenges to ship products fast, right? Right now with the AI market, the products are moving a lot faster, but the design systems needs to be so accurate that you can generate UI faster and you can ship faster as well. But right now it's breaking. But I think we're gonna get there, and some of the solutions that the industry leaders and people like us who are experimenting and like building is solving this problem. But these are the questions I dive deeper into. And our design system, one of the biggest problem, let's start with that core problem, the foundational layer, right? One is the design system lives in the multiple layers today. Some lives in Figma, some live in code, some live in Storybook, and some even like Notion, and some of the decisions are in Slack and Teams and things like that. But then nothing is connected to one thing to another. And with these agents, how they work is like they need like a bit of a structured data. Or they start the way agents and work is like the LLMs underneath that makes a prediction based on the data they have, right? If your data is scattered, it cannot predict. So design system is almost like a data layer and a context to this agent. So if they are scattered, the agents cannot generate the user interfaces. And we are heading into the space where generative UI, agent generated UI and all that stuff is going into becoming a thing. That's why the core infrastructure is broken. And then it's scattered. The scattered problem is one of the biggest problem. And what happens is when the things are scattered, it breaks the contract. So if your design system even has a contract, some design systems don't have, but that's something worth looking into. So I started researching this, and then specifically I'm starting my design system in code with React components and things like that, built completely with like React, and we're using Cursor and things. But designers usually work in like Figma and things. And I think we are definitely seeing the transition of design and design engineering for sure in the industry. But I think we still operate with the different layers, canvas and code. So canvases are like not there yet, right? I think most of the companies are trying to do this, Paper, Wonder, and all those tools along with Figma. So I started researching what Figma is doing about it. So I found like Figma's fix that they've been working on this Code Connect, which they launched in the Config 2026 as well, which maps up the component to the real code component. I think that's where probably the place where we'll be maintaining the contracts and things. And in the dev mode, you'll be able to go and see that. Currently, this feature is available for enterprises only, so that's kind of like worth trade-off to look into. So at this point, we almost have to bend the tools right now to make it, but right now that Figma that's one of the solution to it. So and this the scattered context is the one thing, right? If your design system is like scattered everywhere, that's one of the big problem. But the second problem is like maintenance of this context, right? Even if you sync all this. The syncing is one of the biggest problem. So right now, if you change something in Figma, it does not reflect in code, and if you change something in code, it does not reflect in Figma, and that creates that syncing problem, and then maintenance of that context becomes harder. I usually tell people it's okay to kind of have that manually right now, because like I think that's going to be a big part of like the work we do, is to like maintaining that context for the agents and things like that. But I think right now that syncing problem is real. I did an experiment where the Florence AI ready design system, I was able to pull that in like the Wonders canvas and things like that, and is able to pull. So I think there's some two-way sync problem is being solved in the industry. What happens with this is like it increases the QA time, accessibility audit becomes a bit of a challenge on the operations and the governance, and this costs like millions of dollars for the companies with the engineering time and the design time. And then also this leads to a lot of like discrepancies in the user interfaces. So when you are shipping not good quality products and stuff, right? I think in a small team, it's possible to like kind of like go back and forth and stuff and do it like shift faster. I think that's the luxury of working for like startups and stuff. And some of the clients project I did for the startup, it was much more streamlined process. But as the team expands and you start to scale, that way it gets more and more challenging. Anyways, the thing is like right now, all this is kind of like fixed by humans manually going back and forth. Somebody will tell you something in Slack, something with design systems, something in like Figma, someone will tell you this. Right now, humans are like good in like, navigating ambiguity, but agents don't really work that way. They need a bit more of like a structured approach, a structured knowledge bases and or like context to kind of operate and properly. So that's why they start hallucinating, they start like causing a lot of drifts, and it starts to generate its own component, right? And each component is very complex than it looks in the surface. It looks very simple in the surface, but there's a lot of layers underneath a component architecture. So even if it generates, it does not become production ready or like useful to be used in the product, right? And there's like a lot of accessibility and things that goes into it. So it almost becomes you're just wasting tokens and burning tokens, and you're not like producing anything that is useful. A lot of hype in the industry on latest model. This model came, that model came. No matter, even if you have like the best model you can use, but without a proper data or your own data or your design systems not being understood by the agent, no model investment is like even worth it. So that's the infrastructure needs to be done. Infrastructure needs to be fixed in order for the agents to operate and give better output. And even the best, smartest model is, they wouldn't produce output if your context layer and a data layer is not, structured properly. So these are like, even if the best, some of the best models have better reasoning, but based, how would they even reason, on what data would they reason? So that's why that fixing the infrastructure at the, infrastructure for these agents, which design system are, is going to be more and more important as we go, but the problem is real. That's why the agents, that's why like one of the core reason why design systems are breaking for agents. So yeah, I don't want to just like complain. I just don't want to complain through it and do something about it, right? So I started like building this Florence agent ready design system. And then one of my thesis was like, let it be like one source of truth. And then I started using that as foundation and started generating UI based on that. When I told it to the agent to generate the UI, it produced like the dashboard which I wanted, and it was like 73% overall. It had a 73% overall accuracy. And then I started seeing all the numbers. Agent even gave me the report and stuff. But I started to realize like why is it not 100%, right? And I started getting like frustrated, and I was like, why not 100%, right? Then I had this thought in mind. Maybe I'm looking at it like differently. Like what if I build a dashboard or a UI or a product without the design system? The amount of prompting I need to do to get to that 73% would have been so much longer, right? So then it like hit me, like it does save, and by having that design system that agents can retrieve, even if the 73%, that is able to save me so much time of like prompting and prompting to generate this dashboard. It just did it so quickly, aligned to the design system. And then at just the 25%, I could like manually, do the adjustments and like fix it and things like that. And that saves a lot of like token cost and the times for iteration and prompting and things like that. So once, and I'm also at this point, I'm ready to launch the Florence Agent Ready Design System, the beta version. Right now it's a React library, but eventually I'm going to build out like the Figma, and it's part of the roadmap and everything. And I'm going to share it, and you can see some of the components that I've shipped. Yeah, just to summarize. And I feel the scattered context is one of the growing problem in the design system space. Even if you're streamlining the design system, maintenance of that context needs to be figured out. I'm curious to see how design system tooling and then like tools are evolving and things. But I think right now there are some ways that we can make your design systems agent ready through like, metadata, structuring the architecture of the design system in such a way that agents can understand and things like that. And then the challenging part of it is every company is like unique, and every companies have a different ways of working, toolings and workflows. So it depends a lot of like on the ways the design system teams and product teams are operating and stuff. So it kind of gets a little bit harder to kind of put one framework that works for all, or like creating like a productized thing. But I think it's definitely possible, I think. So that's what I wanted to share in this workshop. But along the way, we figured out a lot of like workflows and techniques and methods and experiments that I've been doing, building Florence Agent Ready Design System, and Figma's agent also is kind of evolving right now, which is awesome. So we're gonna do everything. I'm gonna share that in your workshop, helping you to understand how to work with an existing design system, and then also taking the existing design system and make it agent ready so that their teams can ship faster. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. And if you are reading this in Substack, make sure you subscribe to get this weekly articles. And then if you are watching it on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel too. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video.